Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel, and I hope that you've been enjoying the recent trailer for Season 2 of Universal Collision, coming in July. I don't know if it will be early July or late July yet, but coming in July. Nevertheless, that's not what we're here to talk about today. No, today I want to give my response to the Channel Restart Challenge. And we're going to look at, or kind of finish taking a look at, if you will, this guy, who wasn't really a Transformer at all, in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel, and I am your humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course subscribe, and hey, while you're at it, why not? That's right, hit the bell icon for notifications. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and me everywhere. And this is my answer to the recent Channel Restart Challenge. And I'm kind of happy to look at this guy again because when I go back and look at GotBot True Review number 1, it was just awful. Hey, if you're brave, feel free to check it out. But be forewarned, it looked like this. Hello, YouTube Nation. Hello, TF fans. And if you're tuned in to my channel, welcome. This is my first video review. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to see that. But the whole thing, let's just move on. This is my KO animated Optimus Prime, and I've kind of learned some things about him over the last few years, and I sort of determined that we really need to finish giving this guy proper scores and a proper grade. So without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at him. And indeed, we have a sense of deja vu today as we take a look back at this guy. It is the very first figure that I reviewed on the channel, and this is, of course, the response to the Channel Restart Challenge that was started by Ninja Bill, and I was specifically nominated to do this by friend of the channel, Master Far. And the very first figure that I ever reviewed, and just a terrible job on, as you probably know by now, was this guy. A figure that is an absolute KO. It's not even an official figure. Basically, this is a KO of animated Optimus Prime. Specifically, this is based on the Activators figure that came out in that line, which was about Scout class size. Around 2007, 2008, it really sort of scaled alongside the likes of like Legends Bumblebee and like Legends Prowl at the time. Now, in more modern times, because the dates I'm giving you are about a decade old, this is about the same size as a Titan's Return or Power of the Primes Legends class figure, which a lot of people know. We'll see more with his size class later. The Activators, basically, there's a tab back right here, and the idea is that you could pull on that tab and this guy would basically kind of do an auto transformation. Now, you did have to do a manual conversion back from robot mode to this, but it was able to like auto morph to go to robot. The Activators mold did not come with any accessories, neither does this, and the Activators mold was repainted to kind of look ominously like Star Convoy. This is more closely a resemblance to the original release of the figure. In Transformers Animated, this guy was a classic character voiced by the great David Kaye, who's best known for voicing me, yes. And I would like to take this opportunity to let everybody know that I have one of the most important roles in the upcoming season of Universal Collision. Hey, man, what are you doing? What do you mean, what am I doing? This isn't about you today. It's about the KO of animated Optimus Prime. It's not about Beast Wars Megatron. It's not always about you, dude.
Oh, please, dear boy. You will soon learn that it's always about me. Glorious me, yes.
No, it's not always about him, though he likes to think that it is. Now, I've been saying all along that this is a KO, and I've told you what it is based on. But, in and of itself, this was part of a line called Transforming Robots, and I obtained this guy for $2 Canadian, and I'm going to kind of score him based on the fact that he was only $2 Canadian. You want to talk about cheap? This was cheap of the cheap, man. It was part of a line called Transforming Robots, and the way that it was written on the package, which, by the way, had nothing on the back and it had no instructions or anything, but the way it was written on the package looked like the logo for Transformers Animated. And while most of them were called, I believe, like Dark Influence, I don't know, I guess they didn't really come up with names. Maybe that was a faction name, I don't know. Nevertheless, the KO line consisted of a little Legends size, basically, version of Lockdown, Bumblebee, Ratchet, Starscream, Bulkhead, and of course Optimus Prime, all based on their appearance in the animated series. I've heard that the Ratchet and the Bulkhead aren't great, and I've heard that the Starscream pretty much just falls apart. I don't know anything about the Lockdown. I kind of wish I had him. But the Bee was alright, and the Optimus is actually quite good, or at least my copy of him, for the most part, is quite good. Now, when I looked at this guy before, I said that I was going to grade him based on his paint apps, his posability, playability, and his transformation. Though I stumbled over the words a lot more than I did just then, and as I went through, by the time I kind of got to the end of the review, I was like, oh wait, I haven't given this guy scores for anything. So I ended up giving him a score for paint, for articulation. I never did do transformation. I never gave him an overall score. So we're going to kind of rectify the situation right now. That being said, I'm going to do the conversion, then we'll give him some scores after the fact. So how do we do the conversion here? Well, the first thing to note is that in this mode, he actually rolls really well. Like you can see, he rolls respectable, a respectable amount, I guess. He looks weird, side profile, but so does the actual one. In terms of the comparison of this guy in truck mode to the official, there's not a whole lot that's different. The official has more of like a metallic type of look to him, I believe. That's sort of lacking here. And in between these two tires is blue on this guy. It's black on the official one. Okay, so let's get into this conversion. Again, remember that by rights you're able to push down on this and the whole thing should do an automorph. But it's not going to do that here. So we're going to begin by lifting that up and back. It really just has two little tabs that go into two little tabs up right here, and we're going to open out this from the side. There's a circular peg right there that goes into a little slot on his leg, and we do the same thing on the other side, and then we basically stand the guy up. Now he's going out of frame, but before he goes out of frame, I'm going to flip his feet forward and split his legs. Maybe you can see it here before we kind of reposition things. There's two holes. This one back here has a peg cracked off in it. On the other leg, maybe I can show this, we have one peg here, but we're missing the back peg because that's the one that's broken off. Nevertheless, at this point, we have a pair of legs. And with things backed up a little bit, this is what we have. I'm going to take that right back out of the way. For these lower legs, you take this piece and you're going to fold it behind the leg, and then there's another hinge here so that it folds out on the side. There's a little rectangular tab about right here. It was the same on the other one, and that goes into a slot kind of right there on the leg. So this comes around and folds around and goes in like that. The chest will now come forward, and these arms can flip out to the side. Now, this is where things get a little bit weird, and I guess it's because it was supposed to be an automorph. the head doesn't flip up or anything. You take the head and you kind of pull it forward, and when you pull it forward, it brings it up into the body. It's weird, but like I said, I assume it has to do with the fact that this guy should be an automorph. Then we take this up over the back, and we bring his arms forward if we have to. We straighten them down and turn them around. Straighten this one down and turn it forward. We take out the hands, and really, in the end, boom, here we have animated KO Optimus Prime. Now, before I talk about his paint apps, I had to come in close here on the head. As you can see, the sculpt is kind of mushy. Like, you know it's Optimus, but like the eyes are red, and that red kind of bleeds up over onto like the brim of his like hat piece. The silver down on the lower part of his chin is a mess. And all in all, the paint that's there is kind of put on heavy-handed, and it's a bit of a mushy looking mold because of it. But if we take out the imperfections of the head, then this guy actually has a lot going for him. Like I said, the head is kind of mushy. He's also missing two specific yellow paint apps. Those yellow paint apps should kind of go up like by his, I guess, ears. Is that what we're calling them? The things that stick up? So he doesn't have those on his head. As well, down on his pelvis, we will notice that there's silver paint apps. They should be yellow. And down on his feet, we have another couple of silver paint apps. They should also be yellow. Outside of that, and outside of an official Autobot symbol on his left shoulder, really, this guy's pretty good. I'm going to say he's for sure an 8. It's respectable for a $2 KO. I can't complain too much about it, man. The articulation, again, remembering that this is a $2 KO. We have a head that can go left and right and down and up. We have arms, well, shoulders, that can go all the way around, all the way out. We have a 90-degree elbow. We have a dedicated bicep swivel. We have a wrist that like angles in because of transformation, but it doesn't angle. It doesn't rotate or anything. We do not have a waist. I don't know. Because of the transformation, we don't have a waist. We do have legs forward, legs back. We have a bit of a swivel up by the pelvis or hip. We also have a ball joint down for the knee, so like we can get a bit more movement down there as well. The toes can tilt forward and back a little bit. Knee to, we'll say 90 degrees, we'll give it to him. Honestly, for a Legends class figure, he doesn't have a waist, but considering this is a $2 KO, like, I'm hard pressed to kind of mark him down for it. Honestly, all things considered, I gotta say it's a 10. No, not necessarily a 10 in terms of if it was, a higher price figure. I mean, it's all relative. If I had spent a regular, Legends class price on this guy, then I'd probably say that his articulation is a 8.5, maybe a 9. But for $2 Canadian, yeah, it's 10. That's the two scores I previously did. The 8 for paint apps, the 10 for articulation, they still stand. Transformation, honestly, it's a pretty good transformation. It's too bad that peg broke off. I blame it on this guy being cheap. But even taking the gimmick out of it, it's pretty easy, fun little transformation, clever in a few ways. I'll say it's an 8. It's alright. Overall, I would say that this guy's about a 9. Now, where does he sort of fall in the pantheon of other figures? Well, here he is next to a couple of pretty well-known Autobot Legends class figures from the Titans Return line, that being Bumblebee and Brawn. You can see he basically falls in line there, ever so slightly bigger, which I suppose is why he's, by rights, kind of compared to a Scout class figure. And here he is next to another Optimus Prime, that being the Siege Voyager class iteration, and you may notice that he does not have the
Battle damage on him, I cleaned it off. I done a lot of custom work on this guy. I looked at Optimus a little while ago in episode 494, and I showed a very long, detailed, step-by-step about how you too can remove the battle damage in episode 499. And here he is next to the other character that Mr. David K is best known for. I still think that this entire episode should be about me. Well, it's not about you, so hush up. And here he is next to Slimer because why not? I have a Slimer in my collection now since I've gotten Ectotron, who I also looked at very recently in episode 548. So has looking back in time changed my view about this guy? No, I just kind of fleshed it out more properly than I did in the past. I thought he was a great, clever, kind of well-made figure for $2, and even the plastic feels comparable to the plastic that was used in the Titans Return line or Combiner Wars or Power of the Primes. Like, it feels like that sort of plastic. Not to say that that's the best quality plastic, but considering that's official product and this is a KO, I still think it's pretty respectable that the KO would have that good of plastic. It's too bad that the others in this line weren't nearly as well done. And here we are once again with my KO of animated Optimus Prime. And again, I love this guy. 3 years later, I still think he's a great little figure. The plastic is, as I said, comparable to Power of the Primes and Titans Return, which, yeah, okay, it's not perfect plastic, but for a $2 KO, I think it's a pretty good plastic to use. If they were only going to do justice to one character in this set of 6, then I'm glad that it was Optimus Prime. And I'm very glad that I was finally able to give him the kind of scores that he deserved and the overall mark that he has been longing for since episode number 1. As always, I appreciate you dropping by and giving me some of your very valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. And hey, by the way, if you are in a position to help the channel to grow, I have added a donate link down in the description. And the only other thing to say is I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.